In this video, we're going to talk about real estate cold call scripts for sellers. And this is trying to get people to sell their properties to us. If you happen to be in the real estate business and are looking to do that, you likely will find these scripts and this video very interesting. If you're in real estate but in another capacity, you may still find this interesting and get some ideas for how to create your sales script. And if you sell something completely different, you still might find this interesting because you could follow this process and replace what we talk about with what you sell and create your own cold call scripts. And so the process that we use for creating a sales script or creating a cold call script, it starts with identifying and outlining key details regarding the product being sold. The product that we're selling is that we buy properties. We are looking to try to get people to sell their property to us. And so some features with this product, and I know features sounds a little weird when we're talking about this particular product or real estate, but I consider features of the product to be what is in the scope of what you provide. And even if you sell a service, there are features. What are the different things that you will do for your client? Those are the features of that product or of that service. And so the features of this product is that we will buy real estate that is distressed in some way, and we will take that property off the owner's hands and pay the typical market value. And we can either raise money and pay the owner outright, or we can take over the owner's debt. And we can also finance this over time, creating an income stream to the owner. Now, I just want to point out, I created this script for a customer of SalesScripter. And I've loaded this up into the SalesScripter library, and now I'm sharing it in a video with you. And I just want to point out that, first of all, I would never share a customer's script on YouTube and with other SalesScripter customers, but with some customers that sell commonly sold products or services like real estate or insurance or recruiting, what I often do is I'll go through and provide free consulting to them, helping them to create their sales message and sales script in exchange for them donating that script to the SalesScripter library, which is where this script resides, and then I'm free to then share that script on YouTube with viewers like you. So that's where all the information in the script comes from, is working with a client that has been in this industry for years. And another note there is that if you actually sell something that's commonly sold by other salespeople and you want our help to create your sales script, contact us, because we might actually help you to do that for free in exchange for donating what we come up with to the SalesScripter library and to our YouTube video library. But once you identify the features of what it is that you sell, I recommend you go an additional step to think about, okay, well, that's what I sell. How is what I sell different from the competition? And your competition can be different things. Your competition may be a salesperson that sells something exactly similar to what you sell. Your competition may be the status quo. So you might compete with the option to do nothing. How are you different from the option to do nothing? In this case, this salesperson is different from the property owners to sell the distressed property out on the open market. So how is this salesperson different from them? Well, with us, you will get a higher purchase price than you will selling it on the open market. With us, you'll not have to pay a broker fee. With us, you'll have a quicker close because you won't have to go through a bank. Now, of course, that differentiation is specific to this salesperson and might not apply to you, but maybe you can use this example to think of ways that you're different and start communicating that with your prospects and in your sales script. But once you outline the product that you're selling, the next step is to think about, well, who are we creating these sales scripts or these cold call scripts for? And in this case, we're creating these cold call scripts for property owners. We're trying to call property owners of businesses, retail spots, and that's who we're calling. So we want to create a script specifically for them. And then once you identify what you're trying to sell and who you're trying to communicate to, the next step in our process is to think about what are the improvements that you can deliver to that target audience by providing them with your product. So how can we help property owners? And so what we want to do now is we want to think of a few improvements that we can deliver to property owners. And our goal here is to think of between 3 to 6 improvements that we can communicate to those property owners as to what's in it for them to not only buy our product, but at least talk to us at some point beyond this cold call. And so to help with this, we can go back to the features that we just outlined and what it is that we sell. And we can look at the differentiation that in terms of how our product is different from other options out on the market. And when we're thinking about the improvements that we can deliver, we want to keep in mind the audience that we're communicating with, which is property owners. And we can look at the features and the differentiation and say, when property owners use each of these features, capitalize on this differentiation, how does that help them? And I personally believe that most products and services help in 7 different ways. They help to make something work better, help to make something easier, help to decrease the time it takes to do something, help to increase revenue or income, can help to decrease costs or expenses, can help to improve product quality, can help to decrease the risk of something bad happening, can improve visibility or access to information. And so what we can do with these 7 different areas of improvements, look at the different features of our product or the different things that we're going to do. And for each of those, try to think, does this feature help in any of these ways? And if it does, how does it do that? And try to compose that as an improvement. And so if we look at these one at a time, then we can come up with a list of improvements. And with this particular product, we help get distressed properties off the hands and out of the books for property owners. We help to decrease the headache and financial losses with underperforming properties. We help to get the most value from the sale of underperforming properties. We help to turn properties that are losing money into positive cash flow. We help to decrease the time it takes to sell properties. And we help to improve the debt to income ratio. Now, once you outline about 3 to 6 improvements and value points for your product or service, the next step is to think about what are some pain points and problems that the product or service can help make go away. And so our goal here is to simply think of between 3 to 6 pain points or challenges that we can address, solve, or minimize with our product and service. And so if I ask you, what are some pain points that your product or service can make go away? Most likely you can throw 1 or 2 out at me pretty quickly. But here's a trick. What we can do is we can bring in those improvements that we just came up with. Because for each improvement, there's usually an opposite pain point that goes away. So we can go through these one at a time and think about what is the problem or pain point that goes away when that improvement is created. Now, as we do this, we want to keep in mind the target audience, because we might create pain points that are very specific to the audience that we're communicating with. And so as we look at each improvement one at a time, we can ask ourselves, what is the opposite of that improvement? What problem goes away when we create that improvement? Or what problem starts to happen if this improvement is not provided or is taken away? And so we look at each of these one by one, and then we can come up with a list of pain points for each improvement. And this might give us ideas of pain points that we never thought of and help us to make sure we're not missing something when we're communicating to this target audience. So we can help solve the problems for property owners that distressed properties can be difficult to sell. Underperforming properties can be a strain on profitability. It can be difficult to get a good price for distressed and underperforming properties. Many properties have 0 or negative cash flow. It can take a lot of time to sell distressed properties. Floating rates can bring properties underwater with rising interest rates. And so the next step in the process is to think of good questions to ask. I personally believe the best salesperson is the one that asks the best questions. And you might agree with that, but still not know what questions to ask. And here's a trick. If you help to solve a set of pain points, good questions to ask are questions to figure out if the prospect has any of those pain points or has any of those concerns. And so what we can do is we can bring over the pain points and challenges that we just came up with, and for each pain point, we can think of a question to ask. And we definitely want to keep in mind still the target audience that we're communicating with, and so we can look at each pain point and ask ourselves, okay, if we can help that pain point go away, what question could I ask to see if the prospect has that concern, challenge, or pain point? So we can go through these one at a time and come up with the questions of how much of a priority is it to sell underperforming properties? Do you have any properties that are negatively impacting profitability? How concerned are you about losing money when selling any distressed properties? How important is it to quickly sell any of your properties? How concerned are you about how rising rates is impacting your cash flow. And so if we came up with a good set of pain points, that probably is a good set of pain questions that we can ask in our cold call script. I also recommend that you ask what I refer to as current state questions. And these are questions that try to identify what is the prospect doing in the area where you have something to sell. So if you sell cars, these questions would be, do you have a car today? What do you drive? What year is it? How is it running? How many family members do you have? Do you lease? Do you own? So I can't tell you what current state questions to ask, but I can provide some general areas for you to think about asking questions about. Like, you should certainly ask the prospect to see if they have what you sell, or if they're working with someone that sells what you sell. Who are they working with? What are they currently using or doing today? Any details about people in their organization? Any current contracts or agreements? Any size details? Performance details, last time they looked at buying something from someone like you. And so using that list, we can come up with some questions of how much vacancy do you have in the property? Do you have distressed or underperforming properties? How many? Are you looking to sell any of your properties? Do you have any properties on the market? Do you have any properties with floating rates? And the last step in the process is to think about a short customer example that we can share when we're talking to prospects. And if you're creating an example, it would be ideal to create an example that's similar to the target audience that you're communicating to. So for that, we might want to think about who is an example of a customer that we've helped similar to the target buyer type that we're communicating to. What problem did they have that we helped to address? What did we sell to them to help solve that problem? And then what are 2 improvements that our product or service helped to influence or create? And so if we go through each of those for this particular product or service, we worked with the owner of a retail strip center. They had an empty unit that was not able to be rented and was accruing losses. We were able to help by purchasing that unit in a cash transaction. This not only helped them to easily and quickly get an underperforming property off their books, but we actually provided them with a price that was above market value. And so that's our process for creating a sales script. And that process allows us to create what we would refer to as building blocks. Each of those steps creates a different block. So we have a value points building block, a pain points building block, pain questions, current state questions. And what we can do is we can mix and match those blocks to create a cold call script. We could also use those same blocks to create a first appointment script. We could also use those blocks to create an email campaign. We could also use those blocks to create voicemail messages. Everything that we say to our prospects, we can use from those different blocks. Now, I'm actually not going to show you what each of those scripts and emails and voicemails looks like, because I've actually done that already in another video. And what you can do is, if you like everything that I showed you in this video and you want to see what that script looks like, or you want to create that script for yourself, all you have to do is go to our YouTube playlist on our channel called The Smart Sales System, Sell Smarter, Not Harder. And video number 4 basically takes all those blocks and puts them together to create all those different scripts, and it shows you what all of those scripts look like. So go watch that video if you want to see the different combinations of scripts that you can create from those blocks. That concept also of turning those individual bullet points into blocks and then mixing and matching the blocks to create scripts is actually how Sales Scripter works. And all of those scripts are also in Sales Scripter. And the script that I just showed you is also already loaded up in Sales Scripter. As I mentioned, I went through this process with a Sales Scripter customer. And if you go to Sales Scripter and you go to our preloaded library of sales messages, you could actually grab everything that I just showed you under the preloaded message of we buy real estate for property owners. And if you grab that, then your account would then be loaded up with all of those answers that I just went through. And what that does is then there's a playbook of sales scripts that basically mix and match all those different blocks to create a whole library of cold call scripts, appointment scripts, voicemail scripts, email templates as well. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was helpful for you regardless of what you sell. And if you have any questions or want more information, the best place to go is salescripter.com. If you want more tips, there are plenty of videos on our website. There are ebooks you can download for free. If you want more information on the product of SalesScripter, there are plenty of demo videos. If you want to contact us, you can get our phone number, email address, and there's a chat window there. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.